Okay, welcome back to Empowering the Healer Within. This is season 2 of Self-Care for Healers online masterclass series, and it is my privilege to introduce Greg Ruggiero. Greg has been traveling the world in service as a teacher, environmentalist, wildlife professional, and 2-time Peace Corps volunteer who has now brought this worldly spiritual experience and awareness home for sharing with others. Gregory is currently working on the I Am Project with Master Saint Germain and the Lemurians to travel the world's most sacred sites and offer live and recorded meditations from these places in a way that connects the viewer in a quantum way. So Greg, welcome.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning.
And I'm really psyched about this topic. Can you tell me more about the I Am Project?
Absolutely. Well, I'm a traveler in heart. Whether it's going and doing something in the Peace Corps or just going to do some kind of adventure somewhere, it's always been something in my heart that just needed to come out in me. And since the pandemic had started, my guides started working with me. A big guide of mine is Master Saint Germain of the Violet Light. And one of his kind of places that he likes to do his work from is Mount Shasta. And that is where all the Lemurians are. They live within that mountain etherically. And so as I was understanding what I can bring to this kind of, my life mission or bring to the world as a light worker is to follow my heart, and that is with travel. And so they've been working with me and helping me to understand how we do this in a quantum way. And from my understanding, this pandemic is really one of the pros, if you will, of this, kind of experience, is that it's forcing all of us to go inside. And when we go inside, we're not hanging out here in our mental body, so to say, and hanging out in our thoughts. We're going inside of our body, inside of our energy body, and into our heart. And as we understand that where we're here in this third dimension, living out this human life, we come from the fifth dimension and higher. We come from the light. And so to get closer to that light, closer to ourselves, we go inside. And we do this whenever we meditate, whenever we stop and admire a tree, for instance, or when we just go inside and start to feel our inner body energy. And when we do that, we have everything accessible to us. All the abundance of the universe that's within us, all of our love, our talents, our gifts, our joy. And one thing I've been helped to understand from my guides is that we do this very well, and we all do it every night when we go to sleep. And we enter into a very deep dream sleep state. And this is a quantum state. And whether we're aware of it or not, what usually happens is we wake up and we all of a sudden start using our mind and we forget where we just were. And so with these quantum techniques, and the I Am Project really is trying to help us understand that we can do these techniques that we do every night with our higher self, whether we remember or not. We get into a quantum state and we actually go and travel to these places. And we go and we learn at these great universities in Orion and things like this, or maybe around the earth. We go inside the earth and learn from any number of masters or beings that are here, angels that are helping us. And so the thing is that we understand is that if anybody, and I'm sure people can relate to this, if you've ever had one of those really real dreams, like say you're in for instance, maybe you're in a karate dream and you find yourself karate chopping the pillow next to you or the bed, and everybody's kind of had these little experiences. And the thing to understand about that is that when we're in this quantum state, our bodies do not know the difference. We're there. So if we are dreaming and have one of those really real dreams that we went to Mount Shasta, for instance, we did. The only body per se that didn't travel with us is this physical body, this electromagnetic body. But we have many spiritual bodies, and we go there and we have that experience. But here's the key, is that because the physical body is connected to all of our spiritual bodies, our emotional bodies, our Eka bodies, Gematrian bodies, if you're studying the Melchizedek method, for instance, that the physical body gets affected by the mental, emotional, and all these other bodies. So if we have a negative thought, for instance, right, the negative thought creates a negative emotion. That negative emotion doesn't feel so great. Again, feel. Then we start to feel it with the physical body, and it starts to affect our health. So what do we do instead? Well, we can use these techniques of making our Merkaba. This is the first technique that we discuss in any type of quantum travel or astral travel. And we get into our energy fields. And when we do this, this is our, well, it's kind of like our spaceship for travel. So this is one of the techniques that we work on to help us get into that quantum state. Because when we're in that dream state and we're traveling around the cosmos, per se, our higher self is there, our masters and guides are there with us completely. But we can initiate this ourselves in our waking state. And so that's the key. And so the I Am Project is about helping people to do this. And it's also helping people to have a lot of fun and to just plain old travel during this pandemic time, because I've been traveling as much as I can, and it's difficult, and there's a lot of, regulations, restrictions, that kind of stuff. And it's not so easy for people to get out and travel these days for a lot of obvious reasons. So this is another way just to go and expand yourself and to have fun and to go to the places on the earth that maybe you can't get there right now. Hawaii, you always want to take that trip to Hawaii. That's on the agenda for the I Am Project, for instance. And so when we go and we connect together in these, in the I Am Project, which is basically, I go and I have all my camera equipment, I have my guidance from my guides, and we do certain techniques at certain sacred sites in the world. And this is all done by my guidance. I don't plan the trip out per se myself. So what I'm led to understand by my guides is that when I do this, we can all do it. And my camera all of a sudden becomes a quantum camera. And so with our intention, we can make real connections. And we've experimented with this. And I'm a partner with Joan Ruggiero, who's also on your show, and many people I'm sure know that since we've been doing Zoom classes, for instance, just doing this type of interaction, we have people doing healings in breakout rooms, and they are feeling the energy of each other, and they're all majorly surprised. They come back with huge smiles in their faces from the classes, understanding, we don't have to be brick and mortar per se anymore. We can do these things quantumly from the comfort of our own home. We can take these trips to, for instance, Mount Kailash, Tibet, Uluru in Australia, Jerusalem, Egypt. These are all trips I plan to do in the future. And people will be coming with me. And I do have one example of this is I have many hours. I've just gotten back from Mount Shasta, many hours of video that I'm going through. But I do have one freebie up on the website at the Reiki and Melchizedek Healing Center.com. And this shows the power of this. And this is only a 10-minute video at Sacred McCloud Falls at Mount Shasta. And we charge our crystals with beautiful Lemurian light. As we know that the Mount Shasta area is in that Lemurian light. And so we go there and people are finding, wow, you can really feel the crystal energy entering that Lemurian light. And we call on Saint Germain while we're at the waterfall. You can really feel that violet light coming in. And people are learning slowly but surely that quantum is just as powerful, if not more powerful, than being there in person. And I'll tell you why it can be more powerful. Because in some of these trips, you'll see from the videos, I've got to hike down these cliffs, and I've got to get on the plane, and I've got to do all these other things, and I've got to have all this equipment. Meanwhile, the person joining me can be in their pajamas, in their meditation room, with their cat, with their friends, whatever. And you go out on these trips. And I'll tell you something else. The more that you practice with this, and the more you take these trips, whether it's with me or your higher self, or you do it on your own, you'll start to wake up in the morning and all of a sudden, oh, I was just somewhere really cool. And you start to, the veil starts to dissipate. Because as you practice more and more and you believe in yourself and you have that faith and you believe that you are at these places and you're using your imagination as a mature light worker. Imagine that, imagination as a serious tool for healing and powerful travel, not just dismissed like when we were children. Oh, that's just your imagination. Well, everything that exists on the earth had to be imagined first. There wouldn't be a light bulb unless somebody thought it up. So the imagination is the first most powerful step in manifesting. So if we want to manifest an incredible experience for ourselves, to go to Mount Shasta, to go within the mountain, and to meet the Lemurians and Saint Germain and these incredible beings of light, and to see what's there, what's inside the mountain, what's that like? Well, we can use these kind of techniques to get us there. And the more we practice, the more we really do truly feel ourselves there. So that's kind of the spiel on the I Am Project. And I'll tell you, interesting, I got the name for that. I knew it was something about, I don't know, something about the I Am presence. But it was my first trail meditation that I did when I was there at Mount Shasta. I came out of the shower, which I'm sure a lot of people get their messages in the bathroom. I get a lot there, believe me. I think it's because it is a sacred space. But as soon as I walked out of the shower and did my first meditation and recorded it, they gave me the name, I Am Project. And then they gave me the initials, International Adventure Meditations, and I get it. And it was like, just kind of hit me like a light. And then the next morning, and this is how guided I was just during this Mount Shasta, I was saying, I don't know where to go. Where should we go? I don't know what to do. I went into meditation, and I saw in my third eye just this beautiful, perfect white light heart. And then boom, the message came, go to Heart Lake today. Okay. And that's how the whole trip went for me. I went in July for about a week and a half or so. And so I'm in the process now, like I mentioned, of editing everything. And so slowly but surely, they're going to be offered onto the website. And I have a free one up there right now that I mentioned before. So that is the I Am Project. And I do have a guided meditation just to give a little sample. It's not, of course, the video footage from there or anything like that. I'm still working on that. But I'm finding in some of my classes, I'm able to do a guided meditation on these trails that I walked, and there's a lot more power in them. So there's something really for that as well. So, yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So would you like to do one of those now?
Let's do it. Sure. Okay. I've got a little music I'm going to play in the background here for me. And I'm also a channel writer, and so this was originally channeled, and so I have a few notes here I'm going to take. So let's first, just by getting into a nice meditative state, by breathing. Breathing helps us take us into our body, into our energy body. And as we breathe in, we can simply just imagine all of our cells glowing. We can imagine that we are this being of white light that is just underneath the surface of the skin. And as we allow this light to glow, it glows out past the skin into the aura. We understand that this is truly what we, quote unquote, look like. Beings of white light. We can feel this now, breathing in. And now we're going to place our attention in our heart center. This is the singularity of our being. And as we start to understand quantum more and more, we do understand that the singularity as our focal point helps draw us in to our true inner self. And as we breathe, we can just feel this. And from our heart center, we're going to activate our Merkaba in this way. A Merkaba is a field of light, a field of energy. It is made out of unconditional love, which is what we are made out of. So we understand that and affirm that right in the centers of our hearts. And now we simply project that love out in 6 directions. First, we project it out before us, right in front of us. Then we project it behind us. Then to our right and to our left sides. Now we project that love above us and below us, so that from our heart, we have poured our love out in 6 directions: before, behind, to the right, to left, above and below. And now we allow these points to just create a sphere as they spin. Now, whether you feel the spinning or not does not matter. You just imagine it, allow it to be. And your Merkaba is activated. And as you practice this more and more, you will start to feel this. And you will start to feel it spin. And now that we're in our Merkaba, we call in the light, the protection of Archangel Michael. We call in dear, dear Mother Earth. The Lemurians, Saint Germain, our I Am Presence, and any personal guides and angels that we may have. And as we're breathing into our body, we can understand that we breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. And as the trees breathe with us, they breathe in that carbon dioxide and breathe out that oxygen. So now we can feel ourselves breathing with the trees of the earth, one-to-one in perfect synchronicity, like the shores of the ocean. And as we're breathing in this way with the trees, we imagine ourselves at the head of a beautiful forest trail. And as we look at the trail, we notice many footprints and paw prints and many kinds of animals who have walked the same path. In fact, as you take your first steps on the path, you come to understand that it is in fact the animals of the forest who created this path over probably thousands of years of simple, sacred perambulation. And as you contemplate the mysteries of the forest, you start to feel an energy rise up from the bottoms of your feet. And with every step, this energy becomes stronger and stronger, making your legs feel full of earthly energy, grounded and alive. You then notice, as you step each step, energies of the surrounding crystals and minerals at your feet. And the surrounding boulders and outcroppings are pouring their energy out to you. And it flows right up from the bottom of your feet. And as you walk, you feel certain wonderful crystals reach out to you with their love and crystalline light as it enters into all of your chakras, up from the bottoms of your feet with every step. Into your root chakra, you feel red jasper with grounding protection and physical vitality. Into your sacral chakra comes orange calcite, enhancing creativity and joy. Into the solar plexus comes the energies of citrine, bringing in personal power, success, and confidence. Into the heart chakra flows jade energy, which brings in love, forgiveness, and the healing of heartache. Into the throat chakra rises the energies of blue celestite, bringing clear, strong, loving communication and the speaking of one's truth. And into the third eye comes sodalite, which brings with it the energies of wisdom, calm, and clarity, an inner vision focus for quantum astral travel and receiving messages from the higher realms. And finally, amethyst rises up from the bottoms of our feet, all the way to the crown, where the violet energies of amethyst open up our minds to the upper realms, transmuting all that needs to be transmuted, clearing the way for our ascension. as we feel all these crystal energies within our energy bodies now. And as we continue up the trail, we notice that in quantum hiking, we actually get more energized as we walk. Instead of tired legs and backs and arms, we feel lighter with each step, taller. Our heads seem to naturally elevate, and we find we seldom look down, unless it is to admire an insect of exquisite design and extravagance. As we hike, we notice a shift in our posture to one of complete uprightness and strength. Like a young sapling reaching forever higher and higher for the sun. And as we are more present and more present with nature, we feel more and more ourselves. We feel a familiarity with the divine and sacred underlying energy blanket of the forest. And as we recognize ourselves in the forest, some other beings begin to recognize us. We now begin to become aware of the sacred colors and scents of the floral kingdom all around us. And the flowers begin to speak. Breathe, they say. Breathe in our essence. Absorb our colors into your chakras. Let the healing droplets of our scents saturate your cells with colorful love and light. Let us nourish you as Mother Earth's morning dew nourishes our leaves and petals in the early morning hours. For the crown, the violets bring forth their love and light. Wild indigo for the third eye. And beautiful blue bellflower for the throat. The essence of green daylily comes to the heart, and chamomile for the solar plexus, sunflower for the sacral chakra, and red rose for the root chakra. Feel these essences now. And as we continue up the ascending trail, thick with beautiful trees. On the hike, we notice it actually becomes easier and easier. We are beginning to feel as if we are walking on clouds. And it is with this light, joyful feeling, we notice a presence approaching us, or perhaps many presences, gentle and curious, out of the forest. Spirit animals begin to present themselves to you. Eagle to the crown brings in joy, celebration, and transformation. Crow to the third eye brings focus, adventure, and freedom. Mother bear comes to the throat with grounded power, bravery, and protection. Dove to the heart with purity, peace, and compassion. Deer comes to the solar plexus with elegance, grace, and safety. Fox, bringing into the sacral center luck, cleverness, and curiosity. And beautiful wolf into the root chakra, bringing in enduring love, partnership, and loyalty. So as we thank our spirit animal friends who begin to fade into the forest, we notice the trail opens up into a valley with Mount Shasta solidly surrounding us. And when we approach Heart Lake, we see just before us, pleased to see that not only are the waters in the shape of our own hearts, but that the dappled sunlight on the waters herself, coming from both the sun and the mountain, this light is reflected back to us as rainbow sparkles of healing light. This is no ordinary light, and you allow it to penetrate into your body and being, feeling its healing effects as it touches every cell, system, and molecule of your body. from its surface to its singularity, which lies deep within the heart. And as we marvel at this dancing light spectacle, we hear inner guidance encouraging us to sit comfortably at the edge of the shore of this beautiful heart lake. And so you do. There are wonderful little patches of soft grass and a few very comfortable logs that you can choose from as you seat yourself. You are then told to put your feet in the water, and you do, finding the water a perfect temperature. This water seems to have intelligence, abilities. It is no ordinary water. And as you are enjoying this peaceful scene, something begins to happen. What we now recognize as a Lemurian light coming from the mountain, somehow mixing with the sun's light and the water's energy, begins to rise up from our feet in the water. And as it rises up, it brings up Lemurian light and love into all of our chakras. Up from our earth star, into our feet, legs, roots, sacral, solar plexus, heart, our high heart, throat, third eye, and crown, all the way to our soul star. And as this light exits our crown and soul star, we see that a beam of white light has extended out from us, all the way to the peak of the mountain in the nearby distance. And when this beam makes its connection, we suddenly feel a great energy from within, and we are immediately transported inside the mountain. Inside Mount Shasta, there are cities of great light and nature also, as well as many advanced scenes and highly intelligent goings-on that you don't quite understand, perhaps. Yet you know deep inside you are home. The mountain inside is dimensionally spacious, and you marvel how the depth of where you are is vastly more wide open and spacious than one could guess by looking at the outside of the mountain. In other words, the inside of this mountain is not limited to the third dimension or 3D dimensional spacing. It is beyond the 3D mind. But you witness the truth that this place is bigger inside than outside. And perhaps you might even say to yourself, ah, so am I. Just as you are contemplating this mind-boggling place of grace and beauty, you are approached by several beings of light that you immediately recognize as your Lemurian brothers and sisters come to greet you. And among them is Master Saint Germain, the master of the great violet light, who you come to recognize like an old friend. You are then invited further into the mountain to explore its many wonders and wonderful inhabitants, which vary from imagination to imagination, for all is here, all to experience and encounter. And it is explained to you that your imagination here, in this place, is not mere imagination, but more invitation. For the beings here see what you are thinking and consider your imaginings to be requests. For example, imagining a healing chamber for a specific request, and it will be shown to you, and you will be shown how to heal. Imagine a question in your head, and the answer, or at least a pointer to the answer, will be shown to you, etc., etc. As you are understanding this, Saint Germain steps forward with a gift. He reaches his hand out to you that holds a radiant, glowing amethyst crystal and places it in your hand. And together with both of your hands, you place it in your heart. He calls it a wayfinder crystal, so that you can always find the way with your heart. It radiates living light, so it can never dim or be doused by darkness. As soon as you feel this beautiful bright crystal anchor in your heart, it duplicates itself. One copy descends down to your earth star, and another copy ascends up to your crown chakra and up to your soul star. Then Saint Germain gives the command, Leoesh, pillar of light, we are one, we are one, we are one. As soon as he states this, your entire being becomes engulfed in the violet flame, which is quite bright, but also quite soothing, clearing and refreshing. Soon, the brightness of the flame dies down a bit to a subtle, comfortable glow, and a clarity comes over you of what you would like to do while here in the mountain. So whether you came for a healing, a guidance, a protection, or abundance, or all the above, you are now encouraged to step forward with your feet and your intention, and you are then asked to imagine where you would like to begin. And as soon as you do, you find yourself on your way into the mountain to explore. You may take Saint Germain's hand as a guide, your Lemurian friends and family as guides, or your own personal guides and angels. As now allow yourself to experience the energies and Lemurian light of Mount Shasta. For this preliminary visit, we'll just spend a moment here, just to get a taste, they say. So allow yourself now to be within the mountain. And when I say namaste, there'll be time to return. And with the namaste, we understand that as our preliminary visit, so to say, to Mount Shasta, with the Lemurians and Saint Germain, we understand that we have effectively created a trail of breadcrumbs, if you will, so that we may return at any time. Understanding again that in quantum healing, all of our healings will be going a lot faster. And it is our intention that brings the power and brings us into the now, where all healing takes place. So as we start to come back into the rooms where we are, we can open our eyes and just feel ourselves grounded to dear, dear Mother Earth, grounding in any messages and healings that can come to you over the next few hours, the next few days, the next few weeks. And namaste. And we are back here within our bodies, firmly grounded into the rooms where we are. And so that was just a bit of a taste, Peter, of what we can do with some of these guided meditations to help bring us there without per se seeing the videos and things like that. And as the videos come, we can see that we're going to have more kind of another tool, if you will, to help us imagine these places and really to bring us powerfully into these places, sacred places along the earth.
So it seems like the self-care potential for this kind of a meditation is just infinite.
Yes, yes, to go to where you want to heal, how you want to heal, which really puts us in the driver's seat, right? The pilot seat, if you will, for our own healing. And so we don't have to think to ourselves, gee, I really wish I could go there, but because of the pandemic or the flight costs and I haven't got that equipment, we don't have to do that to ourselves anymore. And you'll probably find that when you start making these quantum travel trips, it's going to be a lot easier to make physical travel trips when you're ready to do that as well.
Sounds good. Can I ask you a question about the concept of singularity? You mentioned that earlier in the meditation. What is that?
Singularity, this is coming from a quantum understanding where, for instance, if we see ourselves in the third dimension, and for instance, like we have our eyes, our hands, our feet, all of our senses are kind of pretty much in our front, right? So we can say etherically that the third dimension is in front of us, and kind of like the fifth dimension is behind us, except when you turn around and look, right? But in an etheric sense, we can feel our guides. You can feel them coming in from your back a lot. They like to come in through the spine, the spinal cord, and into the back of the head and things. So one way to understand this gateway between two dimensions is a singularity. And so we can actually, if you start to study like the tube torus, is a great way to start to understand this. And when you see a tube torus shape, it's basically the shape of a donut. And we can start to understand, we can go online to Google Images and start to see that our cells, every one of our trillions of cells are these little tube toruses, little donuts. Now, what's in the center of this little donut? Well, any center of a circular or a sphere, if you go quantum, smaller, you're going to get to one final singularity point. And that infinitesimally small point is the opening to the other dimension. So if you take that donut shape, and we can do this with our cells, we can call that higher light, which is etherically behind us, and we take that donut shape of our cells and we churn it. That's a sacred kind of shape. And we churn this in, we'll understand, and we can see animations of this online. We can see that this donut, this whole donut, all the surface area of that donut goes through that tiny little buttonhole of a singularity. So this helps us understand that if we have a third dimensional cell, which is actually part of our cellular structure is in the fifth dimension to higher because we're interdimensional beings. But as we call that light in from behind us or from the upper realms, it goes through a singularity of sorts and then comes into this dimension. And you can start to study how, new dimensions, universes are created through one coming through another, like that kind of. And then you can start to study fractals and understand how, we receive light in a fractal kind of way. So the singularity in us is the heart, the absolute center of our heart. And that's why I always love to say that the heart chakra is not just a chakra, it's a portal. It's a portal. And this is the center of our being. And so as we're doing this work, what we're really learning to do as well is to bring this troublemaker, right, the mind, down here. And we want to think from this point and not from here. Because up here we have knowledge, and that is terrific. But knowledge plus love is wisdom. And that's how we let our hearts rule ourselves. And if we start thinking, making plans from our heart, we're going to find that is going to be a lot healthier for us and those around us. And as we make this connection with our heart and brain, it's just going to saturate our brain with more love and help us make more loving decisions, even if we forget to connect our heart and brain. So this singularity, this is the center of ourselves. And if we could jump through that little singularity, from my perspective, we just jump right up there and just be hanging out with the angels. And, oh, hey, how you doing? How'd you do that? Wow, that's cool. You went right through that little tiny hole. So that's a simplistic way of saying it, but I like to explain things because we're very simple human beings. So.
Well, so that's amazing. And that meditation was very powerful. And thank you for sharing that with us. So, Greg, how can the audience reach you after this session if they have any questions?
The best way is to go right to the website, excuse me, the Reiki and Melchizedek Healing Center.com. Just to go right to the website, there's a place to message and contact. There's lots of free meditations on there. We're putting, we have an audio store, so we're offering a lot of audio meditations. The video store is coming soon, and lots of free events coming up. There's class and workshop information, crystal giveaways. I'm having a lot of fun with this website, so and people are really responding to it. So,
Sounds great. So thank you so much for sharing that. That was very powerful and I think very helpful for those of us that are looking for self-care techniques and new stuff. And I'd also like to thank the audience once again for being part of our journey. And until next time, be well.
thank you. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. God bless. And as I always say, in these times, drink lots of water and watch funny movies.
Excellent. Thank you.